We're going to go 2-axis, 2D pocket. Go to our 1/8 inch end mill. Tool number 4. Keep the default RPMs. Nothing to set on the multi-axis tab. This is a 3-axis move. We're going to go to geometry and we're going to select the bottom edge of the pocket here. And then we're going to go to the heights tab. And we're going to switch this to model top since we've already removed the material off the top. We're going to go to the linking tab. We're going to leave a lot of this at default. Our smoothing deviation here, we're actually going to go to 4/10. And there's an interesting rounding problem I'm having recently that this Fusion's rounding to 3-place decimals. So for this, it's a finish cut. We want our smoothing tolerance to be relatively high. Okay, on multiple depths, we're going to select that box. And we're going to put in 60 thou. We're going to do one finishing step down. And that finishing step down is going to be 10 thousandths. We're going to use even step downs. And we are going to do finishing passes, which makes some more boxes show up here. And we're going to finish at final depth. This is a pretty shallow pocket. We're going to rough the final. We're going to use even step downs. Now we're going to scroll down to our finish passes. We're going to do wear compensation for this. Our compensation radius, you can leave that at default. Our finishing smoothing should be 4/10. We're going to do one finish pass. That's going to be at 10 thou. Step over. We're going to lead ins and final. We're going to leave the finish feed rate at what default is, and we're going to repeat our finish pass as a spring pass. Stock to leave, we're going to deselect. We're going to check smoothing, but again, we want this at a high number, so it's 4/10. And we're going to select the feed optimization box and leave all of those settings at default. Now let's scroll back to the top, make sure we get everything we want. Okay, now we're going to go to the linking tab. And we're going to leave the beginning boxes at default. And then when we get down here, we're going to get rid of our vertical lead-in radius. We'll set that at 0. And then instead of helix, we're going to do a ramp zigzag. It'll give us a little nicer finish with this type of feature. Our maximum ramp rate is going to be 60, but our ramp clearance is going to be 50 thou. And we'll leave that the same, and we're not going to select any positions. We'll hit OK. And here's your toolpath. The ramp's a little bit faster than helix. Okay, and I'm going to rename this Pocket 1. That way it matches the notes I give you. So if you keep these maintained at the same numbers that are in the video after I edit them, they'll match the paperwork that I give you as notes. Okay, next we're going to move on to a drilling cycle. We're going to come through and we're going to use our spot drill to spot drill all these holes. Now that we've cut the pocket, we have all that exposed. Okay, so we're going to go to drilling cycle. We're going to select our spot drill from our library, 3/8 spot drill. We're going to keep everything on this page at default, nothing to do on this tab. Geometry, we're going to select just the countersinks. Make sure you only get the countersinks. Otherwise, you'll cut way too deep. So you should have 7 faces selected. Now we're going to go to the Heights tab. We're going to go from model top to top of hole to bottom of hole, and we'll leave all that at default. Now we're going to go on to the next tab, and we're going to do deep drilling, full retract, and we'll just leave the numbers at default there. Hit OK. Okay, so that should be deep drill 1. So now we're going to do another drilling cycle. We're going to drill this clearance hole. So we should have a threaded hole here and a clearance hole here. Larger hole first, but we make sure it doesn't gouge into this hole here. So what we're going to do is we're going to select from our menu the 201 drill. So number 7. And we'll keep everything on the first tab and second tab at default. We'll go to geometry, and we're going to select the chamfer and the hole from this side on each of these. Okay, we're going to go to the heights tab. We're going to go from model top, hole top to hole bottom. We're going to break through with the tip, and we're going to do a breakthrough tip offset of 0.05 so we go deeper, but it's not so deep that it's going to damage this lower hole here. Okay, we're going to move on to the cycle tab, and we're going to do a deep drilling on this one as well. That is just so it pecks, and we'll keep the default settings on that. Okay, so we've now drilled the clearance holes. Now we're going to go into drill 3, which is going to be the tap drill for the threaded hole in the bottom. It's going to actually go through this hole. We're going to go ahead and go safe, and we're going to go ahead and peck from the top of this hole. Okay, so we're going to go to drilling. We're going to select from our library the tool number 11. It's the number 15 drill, and it's the tap drill for a form tap. We're going to select that. We're going to keep the default feeds and speeds. Again, we're going to skip multi-axis tab because we're doing 3-axis moves on a, and we're going to go to geometry, and we're going to select the chamfer, the top hole, the bottom hole, and the same countersink. And we're going to get the countersink, top hole, and bottom hole of this one as well. Okay, we're going to go to heights tab. We're going to go from model top, and we're going to go from hole top to hole bottom. Our tip is going to bust through, and we're going to break through by an additional 130 thousandths. The reason we're doing that, that's enough clearance that we can get several thread pitches deeper and make sure our thread goes all the way through the part. We don't have a lot of wall for the thread. Okay, we're going to go to the next tab, and on the cycling, it's going to again do a deep drilling, and we're going to take the default settings for that. Okay, we've now done a bunch of work that if our tool was to break, the next tool is going to break, which is a tap. So this is something that we haven't taught you to do yet, but when you're doing a setup like this, it's often something you want to run unattended. And so we're going to put in, it takes up some cycle time, but it keeps you from having to be right by the machine in a production setting. When you first prove it out, you need to be there, but this allows us to check that this tool didn't break before the tap comes in. So what we're going to do is we're going to go setup. You're going to go setup, manual NC, and we're going to toggle this to tool break control. And what that's going to do is it's going to put the code in for the Haas to go check on the tool setter that drill bit's there after it's done. Now this only works with centerline tools. I don't believe this works if you're trying to do rotating or the tool is larger than the tool setter. So we're going to hit OK. And this will be NC1. Oh, I'm sorry, NC2. It's fine. Okay. Now moving on. We're going to go to drill number 4. Okay, so we're going to go to drilling. We're going to select our tap, which is tool number 14 or 1032 form tap. We're going to keep the default settings on the first 2 tabs. We're going to go to the geometry tab. And again, we're going to go ahead and select this as if this entire surface is a tapped hole. We want it to not break itself. It'll take a little bit more time. But it's going to go down in there nice and slow. And the taps we have should be long enough to go that full length. Now we're going to go to the heights tab. And we're going to go from model top. We're going to go negative 100 thousandths on the whole bottom. Okay, so negative 0.1. Now we aren't going to break through. The tap doesn't really have a tip on it. So it should go 100 thousandths deeper, but the driller went before it went 30 thousandths plus the tip deeper. So that should be fine. That's going to make sure we get a thread all the way through. Fully formed thread. Okay, we're going to go to cycle. Tapping is default, and we're going to hit OK. Now we've got our 2 tapped holes. Alright, so now it's time to do these holes. We're going to go drilling. We're going to drill. We're going to select from our library the 246 drill, letter D. That's going to be the pilot for our reamers. Now 2 of these holes are used for location features. The rest of them are cosmetic. So we're going to ream the outer 2 for sure. Cosmetically, if we want them all to look the same, we could ream them all. But if we want to save time, we're just holding these outer 2 tighter tolerance than what the drawing is for tooling purposes. Okay, so we're going to keep this at default. I'm going to keep the first 2 tabs at default. And we're going to go through and we're going to drill each of these hole locations. And we need to get the countersinks on both ends so we get the full height of the hole. Okay, we're going to go to the next tab. We're going to go from model top. And we're going from hole top to hole bottom. We're going to have our tip go through. We're going to go 100 thou deeper. That way our reamer that has 100 thou chamfer on the end will have enough clearance to go fully through there. Alright, now we're going to go to the cycle. We're going to do another deep drilling. Full retract. We're going to take the default settings, hit OK. We're going to do another manual NC that's identical to this one. So we're going to right click on this and we're going to say duplicate. And we're going to move it down below that drill. And this way, if our drill breaks, we don't have the reamer come in and break. Let's change the name of this one to 3. So NC3 is another tool break routine. Drilling, and this is going to be our reamer. Now there should be a separate video on how to build the reamer up. Should have been using it on other parts in this class. It will be attached to this assignment as well. So we want the 251 reamer. We want a slip fit for a 1/4 inch dowel pin. We're going to take the 2 things, first things at default. We're going to go to geometry. And I'm just going to ream the outer 2. If you choose to, you could go ahead and program to ream all of them. If you can, by the eye, see the difference of 5 thou, then more power to you. But you can tell a finish difference sometimes. Okay, so those are our 2 close tolerance holes. We're going to go to the heights tab. Again, we're going to start at model top since we've already milled off the top of this thing. And we're going to go to negative 50 thou on the hole. That way we make sure we clear the hole, and the little chamfer, it's on the end of the reamer. Okay, we're going to go to the Cycles tab. It's reaming at default, and we hit OK. All right, now we've got our reamed hole. Okay, our next routine is going to be to contour the material around the outside. I intentionally did all the drilling first. Some of this gets a little bit thin-walled, and I wanted to make sure it had all the rigidity possible. Also, it soaks up heat and vibration. So we're going to go with a 2D contour. And we're going to switch to the 1/4 inch end mill. And we're going to keep the default speeds and speeds. You could go faster with this cutter, but we have it stretched out really far, and so it doesn't behave as well as it could under those conditions. Okay, so first 2 tabs are default. We're going to go to Geometry, select Silhouette, and we only want the outside silhouette. We're going to hit OK. And then on the next tab, the Heights tab, we're going to go from Model Top. And we're going to go Model Top for the 2 rapid planes. And instead of going to the selected contour, we're going to go to Model Bottom. Or you could select a face of the bottom. And then we're going to go to -100 thou just to make sure we cut past. Our Op2, this sits in a pocket. We don't want this to interfere in the pocket. And we should be plenty above our clamps, so we're not going to hit anything. Okay, moving on to the next tab. We're going to use wear compensation. We're going to repeat our finish pass. We're going to go to roughing passes, and we're going to select that. We're going to set our maximum step down 0.125 or 125 thousandths. We're going to leave our smoothing deviation on the roughing pass at 4 thousandths. We're going to do 2 step overs to remove the stock around the outside. And our finishing step over, we're going to bump that down to 20. Now we're going to do multiple depths. We're also going to do 0.125 for the maximum roughing depth. We're going to do 1 finishing step down. And that finishing step down is going to be 10 thou. We're going to finish at final depth. We're going to use even step downs. We do not want to leave stock on islands. We're going to set that to 0. We don't want stock to leave set. We don't want smoothing set. And the feed optimization will do nothing on the exterior unless we overwrite it. Okay, we'll move on to the linking tab. As usual, we're going to leave most of this at default, but we are going to make some changes. Okay, so our horizontal lead-in radius is going to be staying the same, 90-degree sweep angle. Our linear lead-in distance, though, because we're a fair amount of material, we're going to do 0.13, and then our vertical lead-in radius we're going to set at 0. Make sure you select keep tool down, and then we're going to select our point. So right here, so that we can put force against the fixture and not against the Mighty Bite itself. Could move, and we don't want any linear force. Hit OK. So we should get our lead-ins, multiple laps around roughing, and then a finished pass. Okay, so that's contour 1.